Hi there! Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Knotty Giraffe. My name's Glenna, and this is my little spot on YouTube where I talk about my knitting. I have been knitting since I was about 6 years old. It's a passion of mine, and I'm guessing it's a passion of yours, or you wouldn't be here. So I believe this is episode 11 today. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before and I'll be wrong again. But I have lots to talk to you about today. First off, I'll start by letting you know I'm coming to you from Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, where I live with my 2 dogs. The date today is, when I'm recording, it is Friday, May 31st, and it's just around noon today. So yeah, like I said, I have quite a bit to talk to you about today. I've got 2 finished objects and 3 works in progress, a new cast on, and some exciting life news regarding my writing. So yeah, I think we may as well just dive in, grab a beverage and your knitting needles, and let's go. So I will start off with what I'm wearing. This is the Jennifer Steingass Forestland sweater. I cast this on, I think it was about 6 weeks ago. It is just a lovely, lovely pattern. It's done in DK weight yarn, knit on 4mm needles, I believe, and it's a top-down yoke construction. Oh, there goes my bird clock. As always, my clocks are going off. I thought I waited till the other one went. I forgot to wait till this one went too. Sorry. So back to my sweater. It's the Forestland by Jennifer Steingass, and I used some alpaca. It's 100% alpaca that I used. It came in a bag that was donated to my local Fiber Arts Guild. And I used that for the main color, and then I used some Lang Merino for the color work. I'll insert a picture of it so you can see what the ball looked like. But I'm very pleased with how the color work turned out. The alpaca, I find, I love the drops. I think it's the drops air that I usually use. No, it's the drop sky that I usually use when I want to knit with alpaca. And it's super, super soft, but this is a little different. It's got some kind of like little prickly guard hairs on it or something. And so it's not the softest. Well, it's soft, but it's just, there's something about it that I'll probably have to take it off after I finish talking about it, because I have it on over bare skin, and it's giving me a little bit of a prickle. But I do want to talk a little bit about the construction of this sweater, because if you've never done a Jennifer Steingass pattern, I really, really recommend it. She has little things that I don't see in other patterns. Like, the one noticeable thing that I love the most is how she does the underarms. Like, you know how sometimes when you're casting on or putting on the stitches, when you switch over to start knitting the sleeves, how you end up with that little hole in the armpit. Well, Jennifer solves that by just adding a couple of extra stitches in and then knitting them together on the first time round. And it's the first sweater I've ever knit where I didn't have to go back in with a darning needle and clean up that little hole. So thank you, Jennifer. It's lovely, and her chart work for the color work, her charts are just so easy to follow. I will definitely do another Jennifer Steingass pattern. In fact, I've already purchased another one. I think I'm going to do her Hinterland one next, and maybe in a softer next to skin yarn. But for now, I I can't recommend the pattern enough. It's the Forestland. It's just beautiful. And I do like it with the color changing yarn. I think that makes a nice difference. Here, I'll just come in a little closer so you can see the way it changes. It's yeah, it's just a lovely detail, and I'm super happy with it. It's modifications I made was I opted to do a twisted rib cast off, or sorry, a twisted rib, twisted rib. Yeah, you know what I mean. A twisted stitch rib. That's what I was trying to say. And then I did an Italian bind off for the sleeves and for the bottom. It was a little bit of yarn chicken with this because the pattern, I believe for my size, I knit the size, what did I end up knitting? I ended up knitting the size medium. I was hoping to knit the large, and somehow I made some kind of mistake and ended up with the stitch count for the mediums. So I stuck with it because I was afraid I might run out of yarn. But I believe it called for something like 1,000 meters or 1,200 meters for the size large, which, or 1,100 meters, somewhere around there for the size large, which is what I had hoped to do. And I only had 1,000 meters of this donated yarn, and I couldn't find it to buy more anywhere. Like, it wasn't possible to get more. So it was a bit of a yarn chicken thing. But in the end, I ended up with a whole lot extra. I'll put the stats in down below here. But I ended up with, I believe it was like, I only used like 780 meters that I ended up using altogether. So but yeah, absolutely love it. I highly recommend it. The Forestland by Jennifer Steingass. Okay, my second finish object today is a pair of fingering weight fingerless mitts that I did. I discovered several years ago that these are a wonderful way to use up leftover sock yarn. Usually if you have your typical skein of 100-gram sock yarn, you can make a pair quite easily with what's left after your socks. It helps if you for sure, if you do the cuffs and if you do the cuffs of the socks and the mitts in a contrasting color, you definitely have enough left over. But this is a free pattern that I have written up on Ravelry. It's just called Glenna's Fingerless Fingering Weight Mitts. And it's super easy. I just knit them on 2.5 millimeter circular or in the round needles. I always use Chiagu, the magic loop. That's just sort of what I've done. But yeah, it's a real easy pattern. It's like 56 stitch cast on and a 2x2 ribbing. And I think I did like 20 rounds or 15 rounds, I can't remember. It's in the pattern of the cuff, and then switch to the main color. And yeah, and then what makes my fingerless mitts different from other ones that I've read patterns for is that I put some short rows in, so that because typically they'll be on an angle like this, and they don't come up high enough on your index finger side. So I put a couple of short rows in just to make it a little taller through this section. I find that works for me. So feel free to use the pattern if you like. It's add modifications as needed. And yeah, for this I used the Lichen and Lace black walnut for the cuffs, and the main color was from a company called Ginger Snap, and it's their sock yarn. I believe the color was called Woodsy. I did make a pair of socks in the exact same colors, so I have a matching pair of socks and fingerless mitts that I can wear if I want to be color coordinated. So yeah, that's it for my 2 finished objects this month. And I will move on to works in progress. So my first work in progress is I'm doing a DK weight jelly roll blanket. I started it just last month. I showed it on my podcast last month. And I believe last month I had done the first strip, and I was somewhere right around here on the first strip. So I finished the first strip off, and I have started adding the second strip. And I tell you, this has got to be like the most addicting project that there is. I think it has to do with the fact that they're short rows. It's like 21 stitches across, is how I'm doing mine anyway. And then I'm doing the same modifications that the Crazy Sock Lady suggests in hers. And I will put a link to that in the description down below. But it creates this lovely seam where you join them, and I think it's very decorative. I don't know, I really like the look of the seam down the middle. And if you don't like the look of the seam, of course, you could just flip to the other side where it's, you know, perfectly seamless. But I like it, and I'm weaving my ends in as I go. And I'm trying to make the whole project pretty much leftover sock yarn. It's kind of neat to look back and go, oh, I remember when I made those socks, and you know that this pair here, this was my very first pair of socks I ever made, was from this one, and this was my second pair of socks, and it's yeah, it's kind of neat to have, and I think that it's turning out really nice. It's a long-term project. I am knitting it on, oh gosh, size 4 needles. I ended up buying these DP boy, I'm having one of those days. DPNs. I bought these. They're so pretty. I bought them so that it would make it easier for finishing off the sleeves of my Forestland sweater, just because when you get down to the end of it and you're on magic loop and you're having to just feed and feed and feed, it's so much easier to just work on a pair of DPNs. So I decided I would buy them for that, and then I just put a little needle stopper on the end, and yeah, I'm using them for knitting my blanket. Yeah, so I'm really excited. It's a long-term project. It's something that I'm hoping to use for camping. It's going to be my bowler blanket. I have an old 1974 fiberglass bowler trailer that I take camping. So yeah, that's going to be for that. So that is work in progress number 1. So work in progress number 2 is a pair of socks. This is yarn I got. It's from the Vincent van Gogh collection by Opal, and I bought the one that's Starry Night. And to be honest, I was a little disappointed with the color. I thought Starry Night that it would have more gold in it, and not like that, not quite so orangey. And maybe more blue. I don't know. This is what the ball looks like. And anyway, I'm just doing my typical vanilla sock pattern with 20 rows for the cuff, and then I believe I did 50 rows for the leg before I started the heel flap, a slip stitch heel. I'm just working on the gusset now, and I'm looking, and it looks like I've already lost some stitches off the needle, so I'll have to pick those up as soon as I sign off here. But yeah, just 64 stitches. 2.25 millimeter Chiagu magic loop, and yeah, that's my socks. So this is just the first one, and I imagine I will have both of them done by the time I record next month. So my last work in progress is my latest cast on, and it was for the what's it called, the flower tank tea. And I honestly don't know whether to keep going or to frog it. I'm really not sure what to do. I'm using this absolutely gorgeous linen that I got from Fat Marmot. It's beautiful. But I've really had trouble with this pattern. I tried to cast this pattern on last year, and I swear I did a gauge swatch before I started, and I got as far as over the sleeves and joining it, and it was like, you could have fit two of me in there. It was massive. I don't know, I have no idea how that happened. So I did a gauge swatch again with this one, and now I have just finished the, it starts with a provisional cast on, and then you knit over the first sleeve. And so I've done that, and they tell you to put a stitch marker in where the top of the shoulder is. So, but if I put it over my head and put the shoulder stitch marker at the top, it's like, it's way up here, and that is just, so I've already added 4 extra rows, and I'm thinking I might have to add even more because the neck's supposed to come like straight across from here, and that is just not long enough. So I don't know whether to just frog it and give up on this pattern altogether or not. So I'm kind of stalled on it. I don't want to be investing time into something that's not going to fit. And despite doing 2 different gauge swatches, it's just not happening. So either I carry on and just keep making a whole lot of modifications as I go and hope that I can remember what I did so I can do the second side the same, or I just frog it and try another pattern, because I would really like to have a summer tank that I could wear, and I wanted to use this beautiful fingering weight linen. It's so gorgeous. It's showing, the color it's not quite so bright, the color. It's a little more muted than what's showing on the camera, but it's beautiful. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with that one. So check out, if you want, you can check in at the end of June and see how it turned out, see what I did. But that's it for knitting for this month. I almost forgot about spinning. I don't know how I could, but I did. I've been spinning a lot lately. I've also been really getting into using natural dyes. I got some fleece from this woman at my Fiber Arts Guild who has a sheep farm, and it's the CVM is the type of fleece. And I've been just learning all about natural dyeing, mostly by trial and error. I did my first batch up with lichen, which I believe I showed in episode 10. And then I just finished one I did with coffee grounds. And I love this color. It's a real brown color. It's like a nice tan color. It's showing fairly true. It's a little bit darker than what's showing on the screen. But it's really fun dyeing with coffee grounds. I have a Bodum, and although I've quit drinking coffee now, what I did was I drank it for about a week's worth of coffee grounds. I just saved the dregs from my Bodum, and then boiled it up and used it for for dyeing, and it turned out, I think it turned out really neat. And then what I did when I was playing was I had a little bit of the lichen left on one of my bobbins, so I applied it together with the I applied it, let's see if I can get it to focus. I applied the coffee and lichen together just to focus. There we are. Yeah, I applied the coffee and lichen together to just make a kind of transition strip that'll go between the two. I just have the onion skins that I've been doing. I've already dyed the fleece, so I just still have the onion skins to spin up, and then I'll have the 3 different colors. And I was actually hoping to maybe make a poncho with it or something. I'm not sure. We'll see, because I still have like this massive bag of fleece left. So we'll see. We'll see what more I can come up with to use as natural dyes, and yeah, see how it goes from there. But oh, I love spinning. It's great. I really, really, really enjoy my my membership to my local Fiber Arts Guild. And if you have a Fiber Arts Guild in your area, I highly suggest that you join it, because not only will it give you access to classes and possibly equipment rental, but you'll meet a lot of really, really nice people. That's the best part, meeting so many people who share your love of the fiber arts. For reading, I read quite a bit, as always. I'm an avid reader and writer. In fact, I am very excited. I am flying off to Newfoundland in 1 week's time to go sign the contract for my first novel. That's going to be published by Breakwater Books. I've always wanted to have a published novel. I did not want to go the self-publish route. I was determined that I was going to find somebody to publish my work. And this one publisher, they've had my novel for a couple of years now, and they keep telling me that, or they kept telling me that it was under consideration, and finally they've said, yes, we're going to take it. So I am just like over the moon with joy about it. It's a lifelong dream come true. So yeah, hopefully if you're a reader, you'll add it to your list when it comes out, which probably won't be for another year. The way the book industry does not work the way that you see that it works in movies. It's not like you sign a deal and they have the book out on the market within, a month. It just doesn't happen. It's usually at least a year after you sign before it actually sees light of day. So if I'm still podcasting, then believe me, I will let you know when it's available. But for now, books I read in the past month, I read Shut Up You're Pretty by Tia Mutonji, which was the last of the Canada Reads series books that I needed to read. It's a compilation of short stories, and one that was very, very tragic. It was like pretty much all the stories were about this girl who becomes a prostitute, and just her experience as an immigrant to Canada was not very positive. And yeah, it was a little. I found it. Yeah, I mean, eye-opening and well-written, but not, yeah, it was not sure what more to say on it. Maybe if you're interested, check it out. I read The Fraud by Zadie Smith, she's kind of a quirky writer. And I didn't finish it. It's the first time I haven't finished a novel in a long time. It's an historical fiction that incorporates Charles Dickens as one of the characters. I love the quirkiness of her characters that she does have. Mrs. Touche is the narrator, or like the main character. Um, and she's, she's really, like, you can't help but love her. She's awesome. But I think what jolts me out is that each chapter is only like a page to a page and a half, and it's like you just start getting into a rhythm and you get thrown out of it, and then you get in and then you get thrown out of it. And I found it was, on the flip side, it makes it easy to put the book down. When chapters are that short, you're reading and you're looking for a spot. How you always, I don't know, I always, when I'm reading and I need to get up and I need to do something, I look for where the next break is, the next logical place to stop reading. And so it makes that very easy when the chapters are that short. But it was very disconnecting. And I guess I had a lot of other things on the go at the time, and I just couldn't get into it as much as I'd hoped. So maybe I'll try it again one of these days. But I read Moon of the Turning Leaves by Waubgeshig Rice. And that was, it's a dystopian novel about these First Nation community who have survived after a major solar flare. And that was kind of neat because it was right at the time when we experienced that big solar flare up at the beginning of the month that I was reading it. And the whole premise of the book is that the solar flare pretty well wiped out all of the electrical grids, and communications were wiped out, and most of the population just perished. And the ones that survived were just like like modern day pirates kind of thing, just smashing and grabbing whatever they could, and it just turned into this whole chaos. So there was this one community who had survived by going north, but they were running out of resources, so they were starting to travel back towards where their traditional homeland had been. And it's about their journey there. So it was good. I really enjoyed it. He's a good writer, and and it was kind of neat for me because, whoops, he was the judge in the short story contest who actually chose my story as the winner for the Jacob Silber Fiction Award last year. So I was curious to read his novels, and yeah, it was a great read. What else did I read? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I think I just started What Remains of Elsie Jane by Chelsea Wakelyn when I did my last recording, and I finished that one. A fabulous read, the best paced book I've read in, I can't remember how long. It was just didn't want to stop. I think I read it in like 3 days. It was just, it was really well written. And I'm currently reading The Small Things That End the World by Jeannette, and that's like another one where you just pick it up and the whole first section, you just can't put it down. It's about this babysitter who is taking care of these two little kids when Hurricane Hazel hits in Ontario back in 1954, and she has to rescue the children from the flooding. And it's you get into that and you just pick it up and you cannot put it down. So a great book by Jeannette Lyons. So that's it for reading. That's it for me for this month. If you enjoy my rambling, please hit the like button or subscribe. And if you don't, please don't hit dislike, because that's like really disheartening. The old from the movie Bambi, when Bambi and Thumper are talking, and Thumper says his father's rule is, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So anyway, no, whatever. If you You want to slam me, go ahead. I don't have thick skin, but it won't kill me. So yeah, that's it. Have a great month of June, and I will catch you at the end of June, I hope. All right, bye for now.